Buffalo's gonna win it, folks.
Kick your heels up and shout.
We've seen why the Buffalo Bills are en route to the playoffs.
Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout.
Buffalo Bills go undefeated. And we're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Now, baby. Come on, come on.
No one
Come on
circles the
and
wagon
shout.
like the Buffalo Bills.
All right. Hello. We are back for another week. The first official week with our name and our new logo and
Overdue
video.
Bills.
Overdue Bills, as you guys saw it in the intro. We're here with my boy Mike D.
Yes,
You
sir.
know me, I'm Matt. We got a special guest for you guys today from the Dolphins. We got Eric Wiedeke.
You stuck the landing, man. I got you.
we got him on. We're here this week to give you some insight on the Dolphins and talk about it. Hopefully he's got some good gems for us. So Eric, I'm gonna turn it over to you, man. Let you tell me a little bit about yourself. How you what do you do out there for the Dolphins, and also how you got into being a Dolphins fan and how you got into following them.
Well, unfortunately, I was born into it. I wasn't.
Yep.
I was one of the unlucky ones. But no, I started following the Dolphins since as young as I could remember, which is back in the Ricky Williams days, right after Marino. I didn't get to catch him, sadly. But I started doing the Dolphins podcast with Pro Football Network. Probably it's been probably almost a year now.
Nice.
Yeah, I got into contact with them with some buddies from college, and I've been doing that ever since.
Nice. Where'd you go to school, man?
FIU down here in Miami.
FIU. Nice. T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah, T.Y. Hilton.
T.Y. Hilton. Yeah. Yep.
Jonnu Smith.
Yep.
Smith.
There we go, man.
Fantasy segment.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Hey, listen.
Thanks for doing this with us, man. I'm gonna start it off. We'll turn it over to Mike. Get some questions going for you.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate it. So, my first question is, I want to start with the man himself, and that's Fitz.
Okay.
Because we've seen Fitz do this routine multiple times with the Bills. Do end the season great, get some money, he stink. Go to the Jets. Go 10-6, miss the playoffs. Next year, he stink. Go to the Bucks. He wearing the chains and Sean Jackson jackets. They try to roll him out there. Next year, he stinks. So you guys did end well, but were the fans or yourself worried that we already seen this from Fitzpatrick? Are you guys? Why do you think he can have a better season this year than maybe if you guys just played Tua?
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily that we expect him to get better than he was last year. Just from the standpoint of we know his history. It's like you pointed out, how he was in Buffalo, New York, Tampa Bay. Thankfully, we didn't pay him in the offseason. No, but I think that the reason why, there's a segment of the fan base that believes that he'll be better is because the talent around him can't get any worse than it was last year. That team was talent-wise a 0-2 win team that overperformed to 5 wins. So they get better in the offseason. Thought process is he gets better just because the talent around him is better. But in reality, I don't think anybody expects him to last the entire season as the starter.
Okay.
All right. So I guess that brings the next question is is week 2 too early for a Tua sighting? I'm going to turn that over to you.
Week 2, or you could even call it week 2 if you want. No, but I think Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I've said this, the Dolphins last week, actually, they had Tua on the injury report with his hip. And, I don't know if that was necessarily, and now I'm not passing around conspiracy theories here, but I think that that's kind of a cover for them to okay, we're bringing him along slowly, because it's been known that he's been healthy for a while now.
Yeah, for sure.
But they took him off the injury report completely. He's been taking more snaps in practice. So it seems like that's kind of coming. I've said that if Fitzpatrick repeats what he did week 1 and throws, 3 interceptions again, doesn't play too well, I think week 3 is the week that we see him. But if it's like 31-7 in the fourth quarter, I wouldn't be surprised to see Tua.
Yep. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I might pick him up, pick Tua up on waivers then. Stash him on my squad.
I'm sure a guy that's in our locker room is going to be preaching that we don't want to see him, and that's Jake Fromm. He foiled some of his dreams in the past, so sure he doesn't want to see him on the field this weekend. I don't think I really do either. I would love to stick with Fitz all game.
Yeah, we didn't seen that Fitz show so many times. It always ends with 3 picks. So,
but then speaking of injuries, big guy that I love is Devontae Parker.
Sorry, I didn't realize.
Rob Pops.
It's all good. We got Devontae Parker. Now, if he can't go, what's your wide receiver group looking like? We played against the Jets last week, who had randoms. I think they had like a tryout on Friday for guys to play receiver.
Expect more randoms. Because outside of Devontae Parker, it's rough.
Yeah.
And Dolphins fans have been kind of, we all kind of collectively fooled ourselves into thinking that the wide receiver room was a lot better than it actually is the season. A lot of people have high hopes for Preston Williams, myself included still. I think he's a little bit rusty coming back from his injury. But after that, you're looking at the third wide receiver right now being Jakeem Grant. And, I think I saw there was a stat after week 1 that Ryan Fitzpatrick had to make the most contested throws out of any quarterback in the league just because our receivers weren't getting separation from New England's secondary. So I think that's a really rough position. They're going to have to target Mike Gesicki a lot if there's no Devontae.
Yeah, and that's it. Unfortunately, you started off with the Patriots, who have a pretty good secondary. Then you fall into us, who probably we're probably 1 and 2 in the league. That's really unfortunate. But I'm gonna let Mike go to the next.
You mentioned Mike Gesicki because we have some big injuries on defense. Our 2 starting linebackers have just been announced that they are out. So how worried should we be? We're going to talk about the running backs next. But how worried should we be about Mike Gesicki having a Gronk-like day on us if our 2 linebackers are out?
If the Dolphins were smart, he would. I would target him as much as possible. He had 3 catches for 30 yards, which is kind of it looks light on the stat line. But he did draw pass interference in the end zone, which led to 1 touchdown. Last interception of the game, he got mauled in the end zone by New England. So he's a guy that even if he's not making the contested catches, he's a guy that's drawing flags. I think he saw 6 targets on Sunday, and I would expect him to see even more. So it's all about the matchups. I don't know who Buffalo would counter with on that end, whether it be Micah Hyde or
I'm thinking Poyer will probably have
Poyer,
Gesicki duties. Honestly, he's been down in that covering the tight end role if Matt Milano is out, but it's gonna be rough out there for whoever's guarding him, because that guy's a beast. Then we got the running backs. I'm not sure if you play fantasy or not. I know Mike's been talking about he has Matt Breida and in a league, and he's kind of nervous over there. So. What do you think about that backfield committee this year? Or do you think one of them will step up and take a Kenyon Drake type role like they have had in the past?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't. Not even we saw Myles Gaskin, leading the backfield coming. Nobody did. I would hope to see a lot more of Matt Breida this week, especially in the passing game. Yeah, I think that the Dolphins right now, given just how sparse their weapons are on offense, anytime you get a guy like Breida who can hit the home run every time he touches the ball, you need to get it into his hands as much as possible. That's who I would look for to get a lot more touches. But I do think Myles Gaskin isn't going to be completely phased out. I think you will see a steady diet there.
Okay. Yeah, especially with 2 keys in our front 7 out this week, I expect them to try to run the ball. Yeah, Edmonds and Milano, and then a reserve defensive end was ruled out today, Delshon Phillips. So got some got some holes to fill that they're trying to do in some tryouts today in the past couple of days. So we'll see how it goes. But now we're gonna get over to the defense. It's kind of the narrative here. It's been in the media for the past couple of days about your new signing this year, Shaq Lawson, who departed from our defensive line. He showed flashes of why we drafted him as a first round pick, and then we unfortunately were a little off with the money, so he headed down to South Beach as LeBron once did. Took his talents down there, So, what do you tell us a little bit about the defensive outlook and how you guys view Shaq as a signing coming in?
I don't think, coming in the offseason, Shaq was like, I think a lot of the fan base wanted Clowney, if I'm completely honest. But it seems like the front office kind of valued, instead of getting one great player, let's get a few good guys. We signed Emmanuel Ogbah as well. Shaq Lawson. They bring in Kyle Van Noy, Landon Roberts. But really the strength of the defense is going to be in the secondary. They bring in Byron Jones, who was the big signing of the offseason. Yeah. They draft Noah Benogany at the end of the first round. They have Xavier Howard. And a name just for, that a lot of people might not know. Brandon Jones, the Dolphins' third-round pick, got a lot of run at the safety position. I think he had 10 tackles against the Patriots. So he's going to be a guy that, maybe not a lot of people know, but he'll see a lot of time on the field.
Yeah.
So speaking of last week, versus the Patriots. Cam Newton, he wasn't an old Cam Superman, but he was better than I thought. So I don't know if I want to call Josh Allen Cam Newton like. Is he better than Cam at this moment? Everybody has their opinion, but he can run just as good as Cam. So do you think that Brian Flores was able to fix those issues with setting the edge that you guys had last week in time to fix the, contain Josh Allen? Because he always has a day against you guys. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the sand, the water, but something about Miami, he always has a day. So what should we expect from Josh Allen this week?
Man, listen, the Dolphins haven't been able to stop Bills quarterbacks from running since the days of Thad Lewis.
That's an oldie but goodie right there.
Thad Lewis, I love it.
Hey, man, listen. Long story short, no, I don't think so. Just because Cam had such a day against the Dolphins, but I mean, if I'm gonna look at it optimistically, you could always say that New England offense coming in was a question mark, and we really had no idea how it was gonna look. With Buffalo, I would hope that they obviously what Josh Allen is coming in, but you really got to hope that the acquisitions of your guy Shaq Lawson and Emmanuel Ogbah can kind of set the edge and make Josh Allen beat you from the pocket.
All right. All right, then we get into your leader. There's been a lot of positive talk around the hire of Brian Flores. What are your realistic goals for the team with him this year? Like, is he on any kind of hot seat at all if they go poorly? I mean, I don't think the answer is going to be yes, but what's your take on that?
My whole thing is like, I've said it from the jump, and I think that it's hard to judge what the Dolphins do this year because of just how much they overperformed last season. Yeah. Like, they shouldn't have won 5 games last season. Yeah. They could be a much better team this year and only win 6 games. I think the progress is in how the guys play. It's not necessarily going to show up in team record. The Dolphins have a very tough schedule this season. I don't expect them. I think 7 wins is the ceiling, if you're asking me. Mm-hmm. But Brian Flores right now isn't on any kind of hot seat at all. Now, if they go like 2-14 and things really go sideways, then there's some pressure on them for next season. But there's absolutely no way anything happens this year with Brian Flores.
Gotcha.
Okay. And I'm happy because I like Brian Flores, but it's 2020. Mm-hmm. And you guys just drafted a first-round quarterback, and you have a defensive-minded head coach. I guess, how do the fans feel about Brian Flores being able to develop Tua and getting the best out of him, right? Because it's an argument here in Buffalo that people say if Josh Allen was on the Chiefs, he'd be closer to Patrick Mahomes than him being on the Bills, just because it's better system, better coach. Sean McDermott is more defense. I guess, do you think that, Brian Flores is capable of helping Tua get to that maximum, reaching his potential?
I don't think that it's been approached necessarily like that, where, in Miami, it's weird because you see in a lot of places the head coach and the new quarterback are kind of married to each other.
Yep.
But right now, I don't think anybody views it necessarily as Brian Flores' sole responsibility, to kind of bring Tua along and develop him. I think that we see a lot of that onus kind of being put on Chan Gailey, number one, which I wasn't necessarily a fan of bringing him in.
We weren't either when we did that.
looking at the offense week one, it certainly looked like we hired a 68-year-old offensive coordinator. But no, I think a lot of people put it on, number one, Chan Gailey. Number two, a lot of fans in the fan base actually kind of view Fitzpatrick as like a second quarterback coach. And they think having a guy like Fitzpatrick, who's kind of been there, done that, is going to actually be really big towards Tua's development.
Okay. All right, yeah. So I think we covered all those. We're going to do a little quick true false segment as how our podcast kind of goes. So the first one's going to be, it's a little early to ask, being week 2, but if you think if Tua started right from the jump, it would be a little bit better than how you think they're going to end up this year than they are with Fitzy at the helm. Just for the fireworks standpoint of what Tua could be.
I'm gonna go false.
Okay.
I'm gonna go false, and that's only because of the abbreviated off season. He didn't really get a chance to get into the playbook.
No,
I think maybe by week 12, week 13, Tua will be good, but
yeah.
All right. Shows true or false. The Dolphins have the best secondary in football.
Ooh, you're gonna test me with this one.
Coming from guys that think that our secondary is the best, just throwing it out there first, but
false. Just because I think the secondary position isn't. If we're just going off of corners, I think the Dolphins have the best positional group there, but safeties need a little bit of work. Yeah.
Yep. No, that's fair because we've been preaching. We're kind of looking for a number 2. Will Josh Norman come back from injury and be that? We got a couple young guys right now, but we know one is there. Same thing with the Patriots. They know that the one is there, but the number 2 is still a question mark. Now the last one we got for you. Being a Dolphins fan, seeing a guy that I hated to see leave personally because we dominated him, but Ryan Tannehill, are Dolphins fans salty about the departure and success of Ryan Tannehill?
Ooh,
almost Super Bowl winning quarterback.
This is kind of polarizing. I think most Dolphins fans are actually happy to see him succeed.
You guys better than us. Because once Tyrod left, I was like, get him out of here.
There was actually a lot of people that still really believed in Tannehill up until that last second. So a lot of people want to see him succeed.
Yep. No, we were definitely sad to see him go.
I know, right? we was definitely sadder up here than we were in South Beach.
All right, man. I think that that's going to close it out. We appreciate you being on with us, man. If you want to drop your Twitter handles and your podcast, that people Miami, believe it or not, we have a lot of Miami fans here in Buffalo, so I'm sure they would love to tune in and check out what's going on here if they don't know it's available already.
Certainly, it's the Dolphins podcast. It's part of the PFN Podcast Network. You can find it on all major platforms. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me at Ewetica PFN, and Pro Football Network, you can follow them at PFN365 on Twitter.
Perfect, man. Perfect. Once again, we appreciate you being on the show. Appreciate you giving some good insight that we wouldn't have been able to give guys for our show. So, Fans that are sticking around, we're gonna go live in about 10 minutes here. So just stay tuned. We'll be on. Hey, thanks again, Eric. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
Bye.